Good afternoon. Welcome to the Educate2Trade Podcast with me, Chris Pollock.
And me, Zee.
We're a week on, Zee, from your big 4th of July celebrations. How you feeling? You're still riding the crest of that wave?
Absolutely. Still in 4th of July mode. It lasts for a week.
Yeah. What a country to celebrate it in, hey? The people you managed to free yourselves from.
Absolutely. The land of the free. And I live in London, England now, you know?
Very good. I was in a US bar myself accidentally that night. Yeah, had a good little weekend away with the wife. So yeah, feeling fairly refreshed. But yeah, it's getting hot in this town again, isn't it? We're not built for 30-degree heat here in the UK, are we? So
no.
Yeah, the fans are pumping.
Absolutely.
It's not the only thing that's pumping. We'll get to that in a moment. But we should probably rewind to the start of the week or the weekend. Donald Trump doesn't mess around at weekends either, does he? He kept us busy by calling for Jerome Powell's head. He's kind of said on record and off record, I think, that he kind of wanted Powell to go, but not really verbalizing it directly to the markets. Well, on Sunday, he did. He said Powell must resign, effectively. So, yeah, there's been a bit of, more uncertainty because he's only got about 12 months left, hasn't he, Powell, of this particular tenure. But it just adds another bit of a curveball in here. When we actually look back to the calendar from a week ago when we were speaking then, we had this non-farm payrolls figures last Thursday, and yeah, these numbers are good, right? We've got higher than forecast non-farm payrolls. The unemployment rate was a real surprise, down 0.2%. Why does Powell need to cut rates? Things are good, and as we can see here, stocks are all-time highs. What's going on? Yeah.
Down to it. I mean, I think Trump's been after an interest rate cut for a while now. We've known it from his sort of election days, from his campaigning till now, and he's always been having this fight with Powell on many of policies. But Powell was questioned about Tuesday. He was asked about cutting rates and how he's looking to lower it, and he sort of replied with policies change. Changes continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain.
Typical Powell, not saying much there, is he?
Not saying much there. So when he says things like that, Trump within the next sort of hour or so goes onto Truth Social and then goes after Powell.
Yeah, he's obviously bored of his brawl with Musk now, and he's looking for a new sparring partner, maybe Trump to keep things fresh. But yeah. We'll see. I mean, I don't see Powell leaving. What's your thoughts? Do you think he'd voluntarily withdraw from that position?
I think with him just having 12 months to go, I think he's going to ride this one out. I don't think he's going to go. Any job he's taken, he's never left it halfway or at the end. He sort of finished his tenure and then he moves on.
Yeah, I see him sticking around whether Trump likes it or not, unless some new laws are passed. They're getting a few bills through. We'll talk about a few of those this week. But one big thing this week, obviously, is the 9th of July, right? We had this from the lows that we had, or the big crushing sell-off we had earlier in the year on these Trump tariffs, the U-turn on the 9th of April. We were given 90 days respite, which ended on the 9th of July. The markets haven't rolled over again, right? We've been in a hell of a move, actually, since that day. You can almost count on two hands the number of down days we've had in a 3-month period. It's very rare to see this many green days. But yeah, here we are, rocking at all-time highs. NVIDIA, all-time highs. We're kind of, the big flagship one, NASDAQ's up there. I think Dow's still a little bit sluggish, but FTSE was at all-time highs this week. There's just appetite for these stocks at the moment. As we roll into the summer, which typically is a little bit quieter on the trading, and that'll certainly be the case anyway for the news flow this week. But we safely negotiated that 9th of July and then posted some more gains yesterday. Okay, we're off a smidge today, but pretty solid week, which could have been a bit of a chaotic one with this all coming to a close.
The markets are strong. The dollar seems to still be weak at 97. Yeah, and I think if you were to just to long the S&P from the 8th of April, you'd be quite high up.
Well, we were talking about this, weren't we, in the early days after this announcement. It's like, if he just doesn't do anything stupid, this market's going to just... It's like pushing a beach ball down under the water, right? You just need to do nothing and it's going to come back up again. And lo and behold, we were talking about this 2-3 months ago. So hopefully a few of you managed to stay more on the long side than the short side of stocks recently. Yeah, these things, I mean, these charts are, this is the nature of the beast, right? They go up and to the right, these stocks. So whenever you get these horrific dips, these tend to be good opportunities. And Trump himself said this was a good time to buy, didn't he? Right before the announcement.
Buy the dip.
So yeah, maybe he's the best trader amongst us. Who knows?
Maybe he is. I mean, the S&P wasn't the only one that pumped, Chris.
Oh yeah, should we get to it?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's hit the crypto, Z. Talk to me.
Yeah, so absolutely. So crypto's going through a part of, you can say, we went through first, you can say, the normal folks getting into it the last sort of 5-6 years. But in the last sort of 2.5 years, it's been the institutes holding and building on their stack of, let's start with Bitcoin. And this week, I think, in this whole year, I think only 50,000 Bitcoins were sort of, you can come to the point of printed from the system. And this week, we've seen 110,000 Bitcoins being bought.
Yeah, supply and demand dynamics at play there then, right? Wow,
Exactly.
That's impressive.
When you have like sort of low supply of anything, prices usually go up. And this is all because of a few legislations that are looking to be passed.
Okay.
There's a stablecoin bill that's looking to be passed, and sort of it's going through Senate right now. And then you have the crypto structure bill, and the crypto structure bill is one that's going to help regulate the market. And we've had a few sort of founders and sort of Solana sort of founder in XRP CEO come out this week and speak to Senate publicly and sort of mention that there needs to be a structure. And we sort of kept crypto in a wormhole for the past sort of 3 to 4 years. And hopefully now with legislation, we can start to build utility of higher kinds. So we're seeing a real bullish reaction to this.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's made an all-time high. And I've been telling my groups and my sort of folks where to long from.
Well, there's not been too many bad buys in crypto this since Trump turned up, really, right? I mean, you'd be sitting pretty no matter where you picked it up. But when was Trump in? Back in November, and that was a pretty solid start. We nearly gave it all back, but yeah, that's us now posting, cracking through these kind of equal highs now pretty convincingly yesterday, and doing some more again today. And it's a market that's open at the weekend. You see this kind of still kind of just squeezing higher for the foreseeable.
What I've seen since Trump's come in, what happens is the market makes a top, makes it high, and then it sort of pulls back. But the second it sort of pulls back, it then just goes on a rally. And this has happened a few times this market cycle, right? We did it earlier, and now we're doing it again here. So I think it's a really positive time for crypto, and not just Bitcoin. I mean, like whenever we talk about DeFi and everyone, because not everyone can afford a Bitcoin, right? So
not these days, yeah.
Not these days. Not 116,000, not 140,000, not 250,000. So people will try to go for a token like Solana or Ethereum or for Matic or any of these sort of altcoins. And if you still look at it from a crypto point of view, remember what I told you? I'm like alt season will happen when Bitcoin dominance goes below 50%. And what we're kind of seeing now, Chris, is we're seeing Ethereum and Solana and these ecosystems start to take a bit of the market share.
Okay.
Right. So we tapped into 65% here. And now we're coming into 64%, and I think Bitcoin dominance is starting to fall a little bit.
Wow, so then that means your Solanas and whatnot will be doing even better than Bitcoin at the moment, right? If that's the case, or maybe as a group, you would have thought that the last kind of few days would have been pretty good for it if the dominance for Bitcoin's going up, but still the dominance is going down. That suggests that the smaller caps are probably doing some pretty good catch up. Yeah,
so like I think Solana's on CME data now. Ethereum apparently is being bought quite heavily. Now everyone's sort of jumping in, and Ethereum sort of tapped almost, I think it tapped 3,000 today, if we can kind of find it here. But Ethereum did tap 3,000, which was great. I mean, this was my first buy of a token. This was in 2019. I bought this at $300.
Okay.
So for me to see that $3,000, and I'm still holding some Ethereum, so for me to see there is sort of a 10x, right? So Ethereum did tap 3,000. So it's not just Bitcoin that's moving. Normally Bitcoin does all the moving, and then everyone's sort of dragging for the other sort of coins. We're still not at sort of alt season yet. I think we still have to go below 50%, but it is looking encouraging with sort of stable coin bills coming through with sort of crypto structure coming through. And then Solana has a huge launch coming on itself for Pump Fun. And Pump Fun, I don't want to talk too much about, but it is the meme season there, and they are launching their token. So we are looking positive.
All right. Well, yeah, with all this liquidity, I remember we talked about this with when we were talking about Bitcoin, that M2 money supply. It's the available cash in the bank, right? And this has like a 12-week lag to the price of Bitcoin. Remember that overlay we did a few months ago? And that was knocking and pointing towards 140,000 on Bitcoin. So maybe we can see it before the end of the summer. Who knows? I mean, at the moment, we're kind of running into a pretty quiet period. This week was fairly quiet in terms of data, right? We had the non-farm previous Thursday. Since then, pretty dead. Next week, it's looking fairly quiet as well. Some CPI numbers, some PPI numbers, retail sales, not a huge amount to kind of hang your hat on there. So, yeah, in the absence of anything significant happening here, we're not getting a rate decision until the end of the month. So there's a window of opportunity here for this to go. The only thing that I would be worried about is potentially the option expiry that we're having this time next Friday. That can often be a little bit of a turning point in the market. So, but between now and then, for sure, I'd be just bullish risk assets basically across the board. It just feels pretty gluttonous, this move at the moment. And, you know, if you can't beat them, join them.
Absolutely. The other thing with sort of crypto is right now we have an index called the Fear and Greed Index. And currently everyone's sort of at that greed stage where they think it's going to go up and up and up. So I've been telling my folks, if you're up, take profit, take partials. Because this is what happens. This is what happens when you're at all-time high and everyone's talking positively about crypto. It's trending on social media, on YouTube, and all your sort of influencers are telling you to buy. Why won't you buy, right? But remember, we call these things, we call these shots. That's what you do as a trader. That's why you look into technicals at such scale, because you want to be selling at these sort of tops. So
absolutely,
if there's anyone here that's up 100-200% on crypto, take some profits.
I feel like there's always a bit of froth in the market, isn't it? And like they say, whenever you're a taxi driver or hairdresser, no offense to any hairdressers and taxi drivers out there, but if those guys are telling you it's time to buy anything, chances are it's time to sell.
Time to sell.
If there's no marginal buyers after the normal kind of guy and girl in the street, like who's next? And if they're the ones holding the bag holders while the institutions and the smart money's getting out, and then you can buy back into their stop losses later.
Absolutely. There's many moments to buy into like a good profitable move, but when you're at highs, you're literally looking, because I mean you see it from here. Like when Bitcoin did make its sort of previous high, what did it do? It pulled back. So we predict, I mean, with the current rate that it's going, it could hit 140,000, but that's me being greedy because I'm in a good trade. Right? I should be sort of taking profits as a trader, because that's what we do. We take profits, we sort of get into a good trade. And if you're into a trade from, you can say 107 into 117,000, a leverage move like that, all my sort of folks that I've been telling, we've all taken profits. And we wait for the next sort of pullback to buy a dip.
Like it. I reckon we'll get to 140 before the dip, but let's see. I do like the idea of buying crypto on big washouts, but I just feel like those washouts are going to be like thinner on the ground, right? And they're not going to be the 88, 83% pullbacks we've seen before. I think if you get anything north of a 50% pullback in crypto these days, you're probably doing pretty well. So might be worth looking at that at some stage when things roll over.
So one thing that's happening in crypto that hasn't happened for a long time is institutes holding on to their crypto. Normally we tell retail to hodl, and then whenever an all-time high happens, they normally sell off. But what's happening is the big sort of institutes are starting to buy. Not even institutes. When you say institutes, it's private sector institutes, but also governments. Everyone's sort of stacking up on Bitcoin, and especially the Trump cabinet. With their pro-crypto. So you have a crypto czar. What's the guy's name?
Oh, I'm not sure. You're the crypto boy here. I'm not sure.
So Sachs.
Okay, yeah.
So David Sachs.
David
Sachs. So David Sachs is one crypto sort of czar that's been telling Trump for the past year to buy into utility assets, buy into Bitcoin. And I think that's also having a big effect, especially when you have low supply of Bitcoin.
Well, that's the secret of the whole thing, right? It's limited. So it's going to be what helps it consistently outperform dollars in the end when it all settles down. There'll be dollar devaluation in the way that there just can't be crypto devaluation, right?
So that, I mean, it's a positive time for crypto, but as I said, XRP's at an all-time high. Ethereum's are at $3,000, and if you were taking those trades from like sort of 1,700 to 2,000 into these sort of figures, you should be taking profit and waiting for dips. I wouldn't wait till 140k Bitcoin.
All right. Very good. Well, yeah, I think the crypto is kind of the story this week, really, as we head into Friday. So cool to give us a roundup on that. Zee. Very much appreciated. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be more fun to come this year. But yeah, just be mindful next week of that particularly. Well, it's not the biggest option expiry, the July one, but maybe worth paying attention to a little bit. But as we running out of connection here, but that's fine. As we try and get handle on some kind of moves into the end of this rate decision period till the 30th of July, right? So going to creep up less than 3 weeks away. So
wow.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Powell then. But I mean, they're only pricing in a 6% rate cut at the moment. Let's see what Trump can do to speed that up.
See, this is me being pessimistic, but could that be the setup to start to short?
Yeah, I mean, if they keep holding rates and keep talking the talk that they're doing at the moment, because even Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan's CEO, was coming out saying, this inflation's in the post. It's coming. It might take a year, but it's coming from tariffs. So that's not very, very good news for Donald. And that might mean this higher for longer narrative comes back. And, stocks have done a good job of fighting that off so far, but there'll be a turn or something.
Awesome. Chris, before we end, could I ask a few questions that a few students asked?
All right, yeah, hit me.
I think some of these are pretty relevant here. So one's pretty interesting. This one I ask myself a lot as well. What's one bad habit you still see advanced traders fall back into as a trader?
That's a good one. Even really good traders can sometimes get pulled back into sort of over trading and being too tunnel visioned. So keeping that objectivity at all times is a really good skill that only very few people can keep 100% of the time.
Yes.
So just not getting dragged in. I mean, I was guilty of getting dragged into all the Trump chaos in April. I ended up getting slapped about a little bit on a few days, and you're like, okay, this isn't really part of the plan. I'm just trying to catch big moves here. So I mean, I think that's one that is very hard to hit 100% of the time, unless, of course, you've made an algo.
Yeah, if you made an algo, you make an algo, and that's what we're working on here.
Yeah.
So before you get into that bad habit, do you have a checklist that you go through?
I don't have a physical. I'm not like a pilot, right, with a full kind of book checklist every day before I take a trade. But there's kind of some mental and practical things that I need to do in my charts before, and kind of information I want to gather before I'd even consider putting a trade on. This is why this is an early start, early finish, or supposed to be early finish game. So you got to get your preparation done well. So I think preparation is key. That's when you do your process, because most of the work in trading is done before you put a trade on, right? So do that work. Don't just chuck money in the markets and think, hey, I'm a trader. No. Do the work. It's it's hours of work to get yourself into good positions.
Awesome. Well, as I said, as a trader, I hope things stay positive. I hope the markets stay the way they are. But we know when there's a new high, there's liquidity to be taken.
This is it. Let's see what happens. I think there's still hope. I think next week I'm still bullish, but we'll see what happens around this option expiry, and if we're getting any murmurs out from Trump and who knows, whoever the hell he wants to have an argument with this week. We'll stay tuned over the weekend.
So going into next week, so we have options expiry
Friday. Yeah.
We have conflicts in the world still going on.
Yeah, kind of, but it's kind of off the radar a tiny bit, isn't it?
Tiny bit now, yeah, right. The conflicts in the Middle East, the Ukraine, Russia, we sort of simmered off that a little bit. So I think the option expiry is one, and then Trump's Truth Social media channel is.
Might be a bad place to look this summer. If you don't want to trade too often, maybe just trading on him might not be the worst idea.
Absolutely.
All right, Zee. Well, thank you for taking through that crypto. Much appreciated. Thank you for joining us. I've been Chris Pollock.
And me, Zee.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Saudi Arabia.